Hi, what's up? Am I screaming at you? I am so sorry. Okay, so 2025 is over. How do I even want to start? I hate intros so much. I, like everybody else on the BookTube community, love to watch and do tier rankings. And now that 2025 is over, I can officially go through the 120 plus books that I read and give them their final judgments. Because one, I barely remember half of what I read easily. And two, I have some stuff to say. Hi, my name is Brittany. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back if you've somehow been here before. How you doing? Ew. You ever have a day where your bun is just not bunning? Like, you know, why does it look like it's totally lopsided on my head? It didn't look like that in the mirror. It didn't look great in the mirror, but it didn't look like that in the mirror either. So that's happening. Background, let's not talk about it. I wanted to sit on the floor. We have yet to take down our Christmas decorations. There's not a lot of floor space available. I love watching tier ranking videos for almost anything, but especially when it comes to books. And I've seen all the other booktubers ranking their books, and I was like, do I really need to do it? No. Do I really want to do it? Absolutely yes, because I think they're fun. I like to watch them. I'm sure other people like to watch them. Everybody else on BookTube is doing it right now. And I did it last year and I had fun. So that is what we're gonna do. That being said, I enjoy when people make their tier lists funny. I am not a funny person. I'm not a funny human being. So my tier categories aren't, it doesn't matter. I'm just here to have a fun time. This is absurd. What is I hate my bun. My heart was saying today my hair would have good bun hair. And I think my hair is just at a length where it's like I'm not cooperating with anything that you want to do. And you know what? Fair. Okay, so my categories. My top category. Inject this into my veins. I want to live, eat, sleep, breathe these books. They saved my 2025. They gave me life. Or they hurt me a horrendous amount and I trauma bonded. The next one is itches my brain in the right way. Like it was so good. And honestly, I debated making the itches my brain in the right way category the top category because that's just like the ultimate feeling. Like if you know, you understand what I'm saying. Itches my brain in the right way. I love everything about this. It's just not all encompassing. I loved this book. I loved everything about it, but it's not like I'm not addicted to it. It's not something that is consuming my entire being like the inject it into my veins category. In the next category we have That Happened. Pretty self-explanatory. If I'm neutral about it, if it's an average book, if it was just there, then that happened. This is probably going to be my 3 stars because the way I rate things, 5 is the ultimate, and 1 is get the fuck out of my face. So 3 is usually my average. It's there. This happened. The next one is stay away from me. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want to acknowledge your existence, but I don't hate you. Like, I'm sure there are people out there who like this, but I wanted to bash my head into a wall most of the time. But let's talk about this red one right here. What the fresh hell was this? What the absolute ever-loving did I just sit here and put myself through? Why? I got 1, maybe 2 that definitely need to go into that category. My bun is just, you know what? It's not my business anymore. It's yours. If you had to sit here and look at it, it's now your business and it have nothing to do with me anymore. What the fresh hell was this? These are going to be 1 stars. And then we have we met before? Because I don't remember reading you. I don't even remember your existence. Are we sure I read this in 2025? Because I don't recall that. Okay, so should we get started? So the first book that I read this year, it looks like it might be mostly in order / not my 25 for 25 books. They are at the end. So that being said, I started the year off with Grimstone by Sophie Larn. And I think putting it in Stay Away From Me is a great place to start. I think I gave it 2.5 stars. It wasn't great. It wasn't good at all, actually. And I'm not going to get too in-depth because I don't want this video to be like 2 hours long. But from what I remember, they said hi, hello, straight into BDSM without a conversation to be had. There was nary a conversation at any point in time. He was known as Dr. Death around the town, which super sick. That's cool. She was fixing up a house. It just wasn't great. It was not great. I also wanted to start reading some graphic novels, but the only ones that were on my Libby app were for children and Piper, as in the Pied Piper. And I read it. Actually, the artwork was fantastic. I loved that. I don't have much to say about it though. That happened. That is something that happened. It's a book about the Pied Piper. There was pretty pictures. I'm pretty sure I was on his side. I was on his side. I liked him. Then I read Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This is my least favorite book in the Rome, Kentucky series. I did not like Emily and Jack that much. I thought she was overbearing, childish. I did not like how she got the whole town involved to try to force this man to move away from his house. There was just a lot of juvenile antics to it, and I'm all about juvenile stuff when there's a time for it, and she just really irritated me the whole time, which she was probably my least favorite sister in the first place, so I guess it makes sense that her story would be my least favorite. We're just gonna put that in that it happened, because it happened. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. What I did love though, Only Love Can Hurt Like This by Paige Toon. Barely remember anything about it, if I'm being entirely honest, but I remember loving it. I remember this was the first book of the year where I was like, oh, yes, absolutely yes. It itched my brain in the right way. I wish I could remember something about it. Actually, it almost should be in Have We Met Before? Because I'm kind of getting it mixed up with another book, but I just remember enjoying it so much. I had a blast. I gave it 4 stars. It goes and itches my brain in the right way. Nightfall in the Garden of Deep Time. I don't know. It's in one of these two, to be honest. I'm gonna put it here because that was not the book for me. This had a lot of literary greats. I'm talking classics type authors. In this book, she time travels, kind of. She goes to this garden, and when she's in this garden, it's almost like time is suspended. And she gets to meet all of these authors from like way back in the day. And, you know, I'm just not that type of person. I don't read classics. It wasn't my cup of tea. So that book was not for me. There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. What happened, I read Lights Out by Nevessa Allen, and I enjoyed it so much more than I ever thought I would, because I'm not a stalker romance girly, I'm not a dark romance girly. Pause. I'm a dark fantasy girly. I like a gothic fantasy. I like mafia romance. When we get to like the stalking and the obsession and stuff, I was like, hey, no, not for me. Not for me. And then I read Lights Out and I was like, oh, wait a minute. This actually might be for me, because I had a great time. So I was like, let me try another one. Let's try another one. No, I should not. No, I should have tried something else maybe, but There Are No Saints? A serial killer becomes obsessed with this art student. And he has a rival serial killer who catches on to the fact that he now is obsessed with this girl. And so the rival serial killer attempts to make her his own, take her out on his own. Listen, not for me. Not for me. No. What I'm actually going to do is put that in What the Fresh Hell Was This? Because why? No. You know what's irritating is I was curious enough that I looked up what happened in book 2 because I wanted to know, but I knew I was not reading it. I was not reading it. That wasn't happening. All the missing pieces. That happened. It wasn't bad. The main character she hosts a podcast going over missing cases and tries to help solve them, bring some type of closure to the families. And her own sister was taken when they were teenagers, and she starts getting leads about what happened with her sister. I'm glad I read it. That's pretty much all I have to say. Which one is that? The play. Briar U? Which one was the play though? Was that Brenna and Jake? Summer and Connor? Colin? The play. You know what? I'm going to put this in Have We Met Before? Because it's either Brenna and Jake or Summer and Colin. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. I also couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in either of those books. And they do not hold a candle to the Off-Campus series for me. Yeah. Nope. I've got nothing. Survive the Night. That happened. The main character is leaving school for the holidays, and the only person she can get a ride with is another student, she thinks. As the ride goes on, she's getting bad feelings. She's wondering if this guy is even a student. She's half convinced that he's trying to kill her. She's unsure of everything. It was a good suspenseful novel. When it comes to Riley Sager, it's like I really like some aspects of his books, and then other aspects I'm just like, okay. that happened. I'm interested enough to always read his books. Well, not always. I'm interested enough to keep reading his books, but I have yet to find one where I'm just like, oh, that was good. That was good. Every Summer After. You know what? It has to go when that happened. I was so positive that this was going to be a 5-star for me. I was obsessed with it until that happened. And if you read it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Until that trope plot line happened. And I was immediately pissed off. Because was it necessary? Absolutely not. Not at all. Not at all. Not in the least was that necessary. I hated it. I hated everything about it. I hated the main character afterwards. Ruined the entire book for me. Would have been a 5-star. Was a 5-star until like 80% of the way through. Wow. The Wheel of Time. Is that what that is? That was the first nonfiction book that I read. I went into it hoping for more information on the Sabbath and the pagan calendar-esque year, you know, like Imbolc, Yule, Samhain, all of those. It didn't really give me what I wanted, but it was interesting nonetheless. And actually, I'm going to add The Truth About Magic also right there, just because when it comes to nonfiction books, unless they are life-changing or horrific, they're getting a 3-star for me. Like, it's as average as it can be. Especially memoirs. I'm not going to sit there and be like, dumb memoir. Like, no. The Truth About Magic was another one that I went into hoping for more of a pagan type books to get more information on it. Also did not give me what I was hoping for. Things We Save in a Fire. Things You Save in a Fire. I think this was my second Catherine Center book, and while I enjoyed the first one, I hated this one. Hate is a strong word. No, I hated this one. The character had so much internalized misogyny. She was horrible to read. I hated hearing her perspective. I hated seeing her perspective. I was over it. Sinners Anonymous. You know, we're going to put it in Itches My Brain in the right way. Even though I liked books 2 and 3 better because Rafe is that guy in that world for me. I love a good mafia. I started my mafia journey with the Darkverse series. Might have been a mistake because ever since then I have been searching for another mafia series to make me feel the way Darkverse did. And I just love the Darkverse so freaking much that I'm on like Mafia Series 5. I've found some that are good. I've found some that I've enjoyed. I have not found any that I love as much as Darkverse. I remember loving it. Loving is a strong word. I remember really liking it and enjoying it. The only issue is Rafe's books came and I was like, yo, this is the man for me. So whatever happened in book 1, I'm sorry. I had a great time at that moment. You were what I needed at that time. I who have never known men. I feel... Excuse you? That happened. I Who Have Never Known Men made its rounds earlier last year. It's a dystopian book, and it kind of makes you question a lot of things. It has a very open-ended ending, and you don't get answers, and you don't really understand why or how any of this is happening. So, you know, it's there. This summer will be different. This summer will be different. Who was that about? I guess I quite literally have to put this in. Have we met before? Because I remember giving it like 4-star. I think I've given every Carly Fortune book a 4-star so far. But what was it about? I have no idea. Who is in that book? Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz. See, this is one of the memoirs about her life, and I don't want to be mean about it. I guess I'll just put this in that happened. It was alright. Right now I'm currently in the middle of a One Tree Hill rewatch, and I really loved One Tree Hill. Sometimes I really loved her character, sometimes her character really irked me. But I went into this book because I was curious about what she had to say about One Tree Hill. And it kind of gave off the feeling that it was going to talk about like behind the scenes antics and her journey during One Tree Hill. It very much did not. It really only focused on her being in a cult and how she joined the cult, which also very interesting. But the way it was written, I'm not a religious person. I don't sit here and be like tell others what they need to do. But the vibes that she was giving, actually what she was saying was very much like all of this happened because God wanted it to happen. I was in a cult because God wanted me to be in a cult. I was with an abusive partner because God wanted me to be with an abusive partner. And I cannot put into words how much that pisses me the flying fuck off. I can't stand that. Before I go even further into how I feel about that, she just seemed the writing came off as superior. I didn't like it. I didn't have a great time. 2 Can Play, Allie Hazelwood. That happened category? Insane. Should not have that much in it. This was just a short little novella. I enjoyed it while I read it. It didn't stick with me. But also, I don't really remember novellas. They happened, I move on with my life, you know? So that happened. Two Twisted Crowns. Let me just itches my brain the right way. Itches my brain the right way. This is not my favorite in a Shepherd King duology, but I did have a really good time. I like how the story wrapped up. So One Dark Window is about Raven and Elspeth, and then Two Twisted Crowns moves to Elm. What was her name? I am so bad at remembering names and who and what and any of it. I really am. Anyways, Two Twisted Crowns focused on two side characters from One Dark Window, but it completed the overall story, and so I really enjoyed that aspect. I would have preferred it would have been Raven and Elspeth instead of Elm. Was it Emery? Oh my god, I can't even remember who the main characters are. I enjoyed the story. I liked how it wrapped up. Pretty much all I gotta say about that. The favorite. You know, instead of saying that happened, I'm just gonna put this in Stay Away From Me. I didn't hate it. I didn't super dislike it. I just also didn't like it that much at all. And I'm confused why everybody was loved this book so much, because it genuinely did nothing for me. I didn't like the main characters. I found them all pretty much insufferable. I did enjoy the ice skating aspect. I used to love watching ice skating when I was younger, so that was really fun to get that side of the story. I didn't have anybody to root for, so why do I care? I don't care. The Fall Risk, Abby Jimenez. This was another little novella. It was cutie. I'm gonna put it in Why Are You Behaving This Way? This is probably one of my favorite novellas that I've read. Again, I usually don't feel one way or the other about them, but I did enjoy this. And if this had been a full-length novel, I also would have enjoyed it. I feel like I would have ate that up. So I'm going to put it in Itches My Brain in the right way. Reckless. Nope, that's not where it goes for some reason. It wants to keep doing that. I'm gonna put that in Itches My Brain in the right way. I read Powerless, Reckless, and Fearless back to back to back. I didn't read the series until Fearless was coming out. So maybe that's why I enjoyed it more than the average reader, because I didn't have to wait X amount of time for this book to come out for it to be, as people are saying, a filler book. If you're here for the action and the suspense and all that, then yeah, I can see why people would think it was a filler book. I think it was necessary to develop the relationships that were existing in the world. I enjoyed that it was like a slightly different pace for the story, and I had a good time. I enjoyed reading it. Now, hold on, because for some reason it always wants to put them in Stay Away From Me. Inject it into my veins. Inject it so deeply into my veins. This was one of my first 5 stars of the year. This was everything to me. Genevieve, I loved her. Rowan, I loved him. His siblings, I loved everybody. I loved everything about this book. This was miles better for me than Phantasma was, and I liked Phantasma. I'm pretty sure I gave Phantasma 4 stars. Genevieve and Rowan were it for me. Listen, if Kaylee Smith writes a book for every single one of the Silver siblings, I will be there. Front row, center. I will be waiting, because I need a book for Seven, for Coven, for Grave. I need books for all of these siblings. I loved everything about this. I need to calm down. Enchantra, one of my favorite books of the year. I love that book so freaking much. Stupid. Fearless. Oh. I gave Fearless 4 stars. It was my least favorite book in the trilogy, which is wild. Do I want to put it in Itches My Brain in the right way, or That Happened? Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any opinions on it? It was definitely below Reckless for me, but it wasn't bad. I didn't have a bad time. You know what? I'm just gonna put it in That Happened. I enjoyed it. It was my least favorite of the 3, and there were some aspects about it that I didn't like. Deep End. Now, a lot of people didn't love this. A lot of people didn't like it. Inject it into my freaking veins. I don't care. I don't care who didn't like it. I don't care if it hurt your feelings. I don't care if it stole the sun from the sky. That's a bit dramatic. I enjoyed it. It's probably my second favorite Ellie Hazelwood book. I don't care. I don't care. Argue with the wall. Inject it into my veins. The Wedding People. It happened. I feel like this book was good for the nosy people, because I myself am a nosy person. I would have enjoyed being on the outskirts of this wedding full of strangers and watching all of the interactions and relationships as they are. I think things that happened were a little bit wild and obviously far-fetched, but the drama that surrounds weddings, maybe they weren't that far-fetched. I had a great time, but I didn't super love it, so I'll just put that in That Happened. What I did super love, let me just... Why does it always want to put stuff right into Stay Away From Me? Absolutely not. Why are you like this? Why do I have to go all the way up here just to have it injected into my veins? inject it into my veins. This is my favorite Allie Hazelwood book. Don't tell me a single thing about problematic summer romance. I don't understand the people who don't love this book. I mean, do you? I guess, whatever. I love this book. I think this was my first age gap romance. And it was kind of irritating that they're just like, hey, you're like a child to me. He didn't say that. That makes it weird. He was like, hey, you're like 15 years younger than me. Get away from me. And she was like, listen, I understand. I don't care. Have your morals about it. Feel however you feel about it. I loved it. I loved it. Injected into my veins. Oh god, that was such a good book to me. I loved it. Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales, that absolutely can go. And to stay away from me. I didn't hate it. It's not my least favorite thing I read. I did not like it. This series is another series that just kind of went downhill for me. Book 1 was definitely the best book. I really loved the cozy atmosphere. I loved Emily and Wendell. I wanted to see their relationship progress. I wanted to learn more about the world. And then each book just got less likable to me. And by the time we got to book 3, I was like, I don't like Emily. I don't know why Wendell is just obsessed with her. He was quite literally made to love her. His character exists to love Emily, no matter how crappily she treats him and or the people around her. I don't get it. I don't get people who ship Emily and Wendell as hard as they do, personally. I don't know. That was my least favorite. The next book is wild. The next book is wild. I was curious because it kept popping up. I don't know if somebody I'm friends with was reading it or if they were making comments about it. All I know is this kept popping up onto my Goodreads, and then it showed up on like Kindle. I can't remember, but I was like, okay, I'm curious to see how that goes. It's full on erotica. You don't need to read it. There's no plot. Actually, the smidgen of plot is that they create a throuple. I'm pretty sure the best friend just joins their relationship. It happened. That happened. Seems like a good place to put it. That happened. Never Saw Me Coming. This was a book about psychopaths. Literally. This university has a program where they're tracking clinically labeled psychopaths, essentially by a Fitbit. They're trying to conduct a study to understand the impulses and the thoughts behind people with psychopathy. The main character is a person with psychopathy. She's trying to cover something up that she did in this book while also dealing with people who are also psychopaths. So it was a very interesting one. It was just interesting trying to be in that mindset. But 2, now you have to deal with people who think the same as you, who don't have normal morals or thoughts like an average human being. That was really interesting. It was alright though. It happened. Nightshade by Carrie Lake. I was going on my Carrie Lake journey. Anathema, Noxarcadia, Eldritch. Well, Eldritch hadn't come out yet. I was waiting for Eldritch to come out. I wanted more of her writing, so let me read Nightshade. This duology. Nightshade is like 700-800 pages. And then Infernium, which comes after it, also 700-800 pages. You know, I'm just gonna put it. It is a gothic fantasy set in kind of a purgatory. There are a version of angels and demons in this world. Demons are bad guys, but the angels aren't that good either. So the male main character is trying to protect the female main character while she is searching for her father, who ended up going into this world known as Nightshade. Did it need to be as long as it was? No. It was alright. Lights Out. It itches my brain in the right way. I talked about this earlier. I did not expect to love this as much as I did. I had a great freaking time. It made me jump into more stalker romance books. Well, just one. We know how that went. I had a great time. It was fantastic. I did not have a good time with Caught Up. I'm just gonna put this in Stay Away From Me. I gave it 2.5 stars. I was so excited for this book because Junior, the female main character from Lights Out. It's following her cousin Junior and this girl that he had a thing for in high school. And he's in the mafia. I was like, mafia romance, second chance. This is gonna be it for me. This is gonna be my favorite book. No. I don't know where the magic went that was in Lights Out, but it's not in Caught Up, I can tell you that. Maybe it's just because I expected to love it as like so much more than I did that I'm disappointed and let down by it. It is what it is. Comfort Me with Apples is a kind of a weird little horror novella type. It's not a long book. It's really short. And it was odd, but in like a fun way. So this book is following a wife and her every thought and feeling surrounds her husband. What can I do for my husband today? What can I make my husband for dinner today? How can I make his life easier today? Well, already creepy. But then she starts finding pieces of human beings Like, she finds a random lock of hair. That's not hers. She finds a random finger bone in the kitchen. Not her. And so she begins to question, what is going on? What is her husband up to when she's not paying attention? And it was interesting. I didn't have a great time, though. So that happened. Sinners Condemned. Is that what that is? Rafe. Hold that thought. You know, for some reason, Sinners Condemned itched my brain in the right way. Actually, I really, really liked it. It's Sinners Consumed that itched my brain in the right way. Where's that at? I really enjoyed both of these. I don't like that the author is splitting these books up into like little duets inside the series. So like book 1 followed the main couple. Books 2 and 3 follow the same couple. And then books 4 and 5 follow the same couple. In my head, I'm like, the main couple in book 1 should have had 2 books. Or we could have put these into 1 book. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Rafe is, I loved him. She was, see, this is my problem. Because I loved Rafe so much that I don't remember much of anything else. We were on his yacht for the majority of the time. We got to see more of Gabe, who is the third brother, and he's books 4 and 5. His book just came out. Now I gotta wait until book 5 to read it. I don't know. I don't have much to say. I enjoyed it. It was a fantastic time. Who doesn't love Mafia? Hidden Pictures. Yeah. This book is about a nanny who goes to stay with this family to take care of the child. The kid keeps drawing these pictures, and they get progressively more and more creepy. And the nanny becomes convinced that somebody is haunting this kid. This kid is either seeing somebody that's not there. She just thinks weird things are going on. It was alright. The Wrong Daughter. I'm gonna put that there because I don't remember much. I remember, okay, there was 2 sisters, and I think when they were younger, one of them was abducted while the parents were away. And then they find out that she's actually still alive. And she comes to stay, maybe I do remember more than I thought. She comes back home to stay with the family, and then she kind of I do remember, I guess that happened. She kind of begins to take over her sister's life, and it was kind of wild. The Risk. Okay, so one of these is Summer and Colin, and the other one is Jake and Brenna. Don't ask me which one. Actually, I could probably tell. Maybe one of them, did I read a third one? Summer's blonde. Neither of those girls were blonde, which means I might have read the third book. And don't ask me who was in that. Hunter and somebody else? Was that Hunter's book? Did I read Hunter's book? I don't know. Give me butterflies. I do remember this being cute. I remember rooting for the main couple. I thought the little girls were an adorable addition. That's all I gotta say about that. The Perfect Marriage. I'm gonna put this in Stay Away From Me. Just because it wasn't good. It wasn't good in the person who, well, they were both insufferable, but the person who did the messed up things does not get their comeuppance at the end, and I can't stand that. I hate that, actually. Vagina Obscura. Yeah, you absolutely heard that right. That is a nonfiction book about the woman's reproductive system. Now, I was curious. I found out that we didn't actually start studying the woman's body until, like, I don't know, a decade before I was born. There's still so much we don't know about the woman's body, and it's not only disgusting and despicable, but it's fucking stupid. And anybody in that field that isn't focusing or spending time on learning the female body is an idiot. You're stupid. From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. No. Yeah, that feels right. I enjoyed this book. I went on a little Mariana Zapata journey earlier this year where I read All Roads Lead Here, Culty, and From Lookout with Love. I am a slow burn connoisseur. I love it. I do enjoy Mariana Zapata's writing because I enjoy when it takes time for the love interest to get together. And again, we had the ice skating aspect. They even mentioned ice skaters that I loved when I was younger. Or was that in the favorites? I don't remember. I really liked watching the journey of 2 young athletes and what happens when there are injuries involved and how they overcome those injuries while also falling in love. Super cute, super great. Wild Dark Shore. Hear me out. Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. This was a good book. It put out information into the world that I do think people need to start paying attention to, especially when it comes to global warming, the climate crisis, these things that people out there still aren't convinced is happening. The dying of animals that we'll never see again. Plants that we'll never see again. I do think it's important. I'm glad that this book is giving it the spotlight and introducing people to these concepts that they weren't familiar with before. It didn't give me any new information. It wasn't life-changing for me. I didn't really gain anything from this book, and I didn't really feel connected with the characters or the mystery about what happened on this island. So it happened. It was there. They Don't Understand by Andy Biersack. They don't need to understand. If you are in the rock or metal scene, odds are you have heard of Black Veil Brides. Andy is the vocalist and there's no kind of about it, is the founder of Black Veil Brides. It's a memoir of his life growing up and how he got to where he was and his determination and perseverance to have Black Veil Brides become a thing. And I have always, for the most part, really liked Andy as a person. I've never met him, but I have always liked listening to him talk. He comes across as a very intelligent person, and also just listening to his voice and looking at him makes me extremely happy. He is a gorgeous human being with a gorgeous voice, both singing and speaking wise. Britney Spears, The Woman in Me. It is just so sad what happened to Britney. All around. All the way around. The conservatorship, her fall from grace, her journey with her children and her ex-husbands. I was very much a Britney girl growing up. I loved her. Her Baby One More Time CD was the first CD I ever owned. I'm gonna put that in That Happened. Just because, God, it makes you sad, but it also puts things into perspective. The way we were judging her, I mean, if you are an older person and you watched all of this happen with Britney in real time, the mental break that she had, the umbrella, the shaved hair, I think this puts a lot of things into perspective, and it just kind of makes me sad and dislike Justin Timberlake. Culty, Mariana Zapata is going to go into Itches My Brain in the Right Way, along with From Lukov with Love. I had to stop and get my blanket because it's -4 degrees outside, and I'm sitting next to a window. But that's okay, because then the real feel is -19. Every time somebody says they love winter, I just get more pissed off. I put Culty into Itches My Brain in the Right Way. Soccer, romance, football if you are outside of America. She falls for her coach. This was another age gap romance. Apparently, I don't mind those. The Witch. Okay, listen. Not bad per se, but it's going in Stay Away From Me because the synopsis of the book not even remotely matches what happens in the book. So the synopsis makes it sound like there's these lost manuscripts all over the world and people start finding them. The book, I believe, is a prequel of some sort to that manuscript happening, to this darkness that escapes in this book and gets out into the world that I think the manuscripts are warning about. No manuscripts were mentioned. This followed two teenagers who stumble across something in the woods that they shouldn't have. Not at all what I was expecting. That's what I got. Throne of the Fallen, Carrie Maniscalco. I'm gonna put this in Itches My Brain in the Right Way. This might be because I am biased towards this world, because the Kingdom of the Wicked series trilogy, one of my favorites. Wrath is one of my favorite book boyfriends on this planet, and this follows one of his brothers, one of the other 7 princes of hell. It actually follows Envy, and he has to break this curse that has been set upon his portion of hell and his followers. And he falls in love with the little human girl. Cutie, had a good time. Doesn't even remotely hold a candle to the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy for me. Legendary. This is book 2 in the Caraval series. That's not where it's going. It is going up here. Absolutely. That itched my brain in the right way. I enjoy Legend and Tella's story so much that I read the little novella Spectacular that comes after the series, and I don't typically read the novellas within series unless I'm like stupidly obsessed with that series. And it's funny because Tella was not my favorite character in Caraval. She actually really irritated me, but I just grew to love her in Legendary and Finale. Let me just go find Finale. I really loved watching their story unfold. I really enjoyed watching Tella and her love interest story be told. We do get to meet Jax in these books, which he is in Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I have not read that yet. I hope to read that this year. I just really connected with Tella and her story more than I did with Scarlet and Julian, but I did really enjoy Scarlet and Julian's story. So actually, fantastic. It really bothers me. Move it up. Caraval follows Scarlet and Julian. Legendary follows Tella and Legend. Finale follows all 4 of these beings. So I actually really like that setup. I can't recall many books that have that setup, or many series that have that setup. The world is fun, it's whimsical, it's adventurous, slightly dark, and I had a good time. I enjoyed them. You know what? I was gonna say, I even read Spectacular. Where was that at? I gave Spectacular 5 stars. Actually, I gave Legend and Caraval, or Legend and Finale 5 stars too. Do I want to inject them into my veins? There can be an argument made for Legendary and Finale to be injected this into my veins. Actually, I'm gonna put let me just shut up. We're just gonna put Legendary and inject this into my veins because that was solely Tella and Legend's story, and I loved it so much. One Golden Summer. I'm going to put this in Itches My Brain in the Right Way. So I started listening to the audiobook first, and I just can't fully take it seriously when one narrator does like both love interests. I've been spoiled with the graphic audios. I love it when there's more than one narrator. When there is a narrator that's the main character, but also deepening their voice to be the love interest, I get taken out of it. So I was not having a good time, but I knew that Charlie could have been just a chef's kiss. So I stopped listening to the audiobook and started physically reading, and it did get so much better. I really enjoyed Charlie and Alice's story. Alice was her name, right? I like Charlie's little redemption arc that he got in his book. The Festival. Honestly, I wanted to read H.P. Lovecraft and experience the Lovecraftian horror that is out there. So I read The Festival and The Shunned House. The only reason they're going in Stay Away From Me is just because I don't have, apparently, the attention span to pay attention if it's only like a 25-minute audiobook. I just don't care. And so I spaced out the entire time these were going, and I didn't care. They were all right. Chaos at the Lazy Bones Bookshop, also not for me. This was boring. So somebody is murdered, but the murder doesn't happen until like 30% of the book, even though it's quite literally what the book is about. So you have 30% of build-up because the author is building up this world to be essentially a Halloween Town. I was super excited because growing up, I loved the Halloween Town movies, and I was like, I'm about to love this. And then you don't even find out who the murderer is until like, I don't know, the last 5%. So it's just speculating. This person's guilty, this person's guilty, this person's guilty. I was over it. I didn't care. Carmilla. I really enjoyed Carmilla, the queen, the original vampire. I didn't even know she existed until this past year, which is why I read the book, and it was good. That's literally all I can say about it. I had a great time while reading it. I enjoyed the story. I was rooting for Carmilla the whole time, but I don't know, there's a lot left to be desired. I'm gonna put The Gathering Dark and Stay Away From Me solely because this year I realized I am not an anthology girly. I keep trying to make it happen, it's just not happening. I don't care. Short stories are not for me. Like, if I don't have enough time to get connected to these characters or the storyline, I do not care. I don't care. I was interested in reading these dark folkloric horror stories. As soon as I was getting interested in one, and I was like, and that's it, here's your next one, and I was like, okay, yeah. The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, that happened. It was cute while I read it. I like the Groundhog Day effect that was going on. The main character just kept reliving the same day over and over again until she got it right. I do wish some of the things that happened on the days that got erased will happen on the day that she got right. Like, she had a deep conversation with her father that needed to happen, and then on the day that it was right, that conversation didn't happen, and I was just kind of like, you know, I don't like that. That bums me out. Alice Rue Evades the Truth. I got the art of it in like August maybe. I wasn't having a great time with it. I kept wanting it to be over with to the point where like by the time I finished it I was like, thank God, like I'm done. I don't have to read it anymore. I don't have to read it at all. Let's be clear. I was just kind of like, I don't want to read this anymore. Let's move on. Alice ends up helping this man who loses his memory after an injury. And then she lets the family believe that she's his girlfriend because he don't remember, so it's not really hurting anybody. And she just lies throughout the entire story while she develops feelings for one of his siblings. And then when he gets his memory back, he's like, you're fucking weird. First of all, you're a creep. Stay away from me. I don't want nothing to do with you. And absolutely fair. because she could have came clean at any point in time. She just didn't have the guts to admit the truth. Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna von Veen. Girl, she makes a book. I am reading it. Let me just keep scooting her on up. This is the author of My Darling Dreadful Thing. I also loved that book. I gave both that and Blood on Her Tongue 4 stars. Great stories. I don't know what it is about her writing, but I'm always here for it. She just does horror in a way that is just so perfectly digestible for me. There was a little bit of body horror. It wasn't too grotesque, but while it was happening, I was like, oh, ew. Oh, why are you doing that? Stop doing that. Like, what? I love that. This is about 2 sisters, and one of the sisters finds a body buried in a bog, and this body is missing its incisors. It has a stone shoved into its mouth and is staked into the ground. Like, all warning signs, babe. Every warning sign imaginable besides a note saying do not touch. And the sister was like, you know what? Let's unstake her. Let's unstake her. Oh my god, and let's get this rock out of her mouth. I loved it though. That was good. This is another one of the anthologies. Not for me. Her Body and Other Parties. Another horror anthology that I tried to get behind. I did not get behind it. I see the Maid series, The Sweetest Oblivion and The Maddest Obsession. Ooh, I don't know. Where do I want to put them? I really enjoyed them while reading them. So, you know what? I'm just going to put Itches. I might put it up there if it lets me go up there. It itches my brain in the right way. This is exactly the type of mafia series that I wanted. They are messy in just the right way. I like the way the Maid series is set up. They are at a family dinner in The Sweetest Oblivion, the first one. The head of a rival mafia family is marrying the daughter of a rival mafia family because they are trying to bring these 2 families together. Neither of these families is having it. They don't trust each other. They've been killing each other for decades. Like, no. They're at dinner, a family dinner, trying to get to know each other. And I'm pretty sure 2 people die. Like, they're just boom, done. Like that's the type of chaos and drama that I love in mafia. The Maddest Obsession follows Nico and Gianna, and I was a little bit afraid that this book was going to fall prey to second book syndrome. Luckily for me, it did not. I enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed Elena. Was that Elena and Nico? Gianna and Christian, and then Nico and Elena. I enjoyed both book couples. I enjoyed them equally, and I think that means that the Maid series may be my second favorite mafia series. Your Blood on My Bones. This is not a book that I've really heard anybody talk about. I just saw it in my library app, and I was like, okay, I'm curious. And it actually surprised me. I liked it way more than I thought I was going to like it. It's by Kelly Andrew, and this follows the main character who goes home after the death of her father, and she finds her childhood friend chained up in the basement. Wild. Also, though, he's just like not dying and he's regenerating. So that's interesting. Really good. It actually was moving toward, I might have given it 4 stars. It was moving towards a 5-star, but it got a little bit towards the end. Hidden Nature. Hidden Nature. That nature was hidden so well. I actually don't remember it. I don't remember anything about this book. I remember I got the hold and I didn't want to read it, so I put it off for like 80 days. I don't know. Rebel Witch. I know a lot of people don't fully like this. Like the second book. You don't really like the duology at all. I am not one of those people. I liked the second book almost as much as I liked the first book. I was also afraid that this was going to fall prey to second book syndrome, and it didn't. Didn't know how we were going to come back from how Heartless Hunter ended, and I was a little bit worried where the story was going to go, but I enjoyed it. Best Wishes from the Full Moon Coffee Shop. Holiday Edition. I received an ARC copy of this by Mai Mochizuki. This is the second book in this series. If you've read one, you've kind of read them all. That being said, if you enjoyed it, you'll enjoy this one. If you enjoyed the first one, you will also enjoy this one. It's just the Christmas time edition. If you like cats, if you like astrology, you're gonna like these books. That's pretty much it. If you like cats and astrology. I love cats. I don't have an issue with astrology. I'm here for it. Infernium. Does anybody's heart rate get up when they see like their favorite book get immediately put in a stay away from me? Just for some reason, what I have to do. I'm gonna put it in That Happened. Actually, I'll move it up to be right next to Nightshade. This is the second book in the duology. I had to put it off for months because I was just not ready to go into another 700-esque page book for a story that I was not super obsessed with. So it wrapped up the duology nicely, but the setting is predominantly in the same spot. Like, you mostly just stay in his castle house. It was good. I liked the first one better because in Infernium we're introduced to a couple more characters that become main characters. But if you like Carrie Lake's rating, if you like Nocticadia, this might be your jam. I have noticed that, like, you either like Anathema or you like Nocticadia. I haven't seen anybody like them equally. Just like Phantasma and Enchantra. You're either a Phantasma girly or an Enchantra girly. I'm an Enchantra Anathema girly because Phantasma and Nocticadia, they're good. There's not on par. So that's how I feel. If you like Nocticadia, then Nightshade and Infernium might be your jam. I talk faster than my brain works. Or is it the other way around? One of these things goes faster than the other, and I trip over everything that I say all the time. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It was Halloween. I obviously read it. Headless Horseman, Ichabod Crane. Yay! I have nothing to say about this. If you like the Headless Horseman, if you like that small or that short little story, then you would like the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Really, I was listening to Motionless in White, and I was like, yo, I've never read the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but Undead Ahead, Part 2, favorite song from them. Make it make sense. Hunt for Slayer, I'm toggling between these two. It wasn't bad per se. I guess I'll just put it in Stay Away From Me. I don't get it. I don't get why people were acting like this was the best one in that, like, Scary Stories collection. It's not. Meant to Be. This was a little Christmas holiday book that I thought I would get into the spirit by reading. I did not like it, actually. I thought I was going to put it in That Happened. I am not going to. This is YA. I tend to not read books about teenagers because that was a long time ago for me, and I don't want to. I did want a cute little Christmassy novel. I came across this. This is a Friends to Lovers book. Cruel Winter with You, Allie Hazelwood. This was a novella. I think I liked it. I unfortunately actually can't tell you a single thing about it. There's nothing going on up there. Who was that about? What was that about? See, a part of me was like, I should have went through and read synopses or my reviews for these because I don't remember them. I don't remember the characters half the time. I don't remember the story. But then we miss moments like this where I just have no recollection. I remember reading it. I read it at the end of the year. Nothing. There's quite literally nothing up here. Yeah, no, I've got nothing. So we're gonna move on. Brimstone, Kelly Hart. This is the second book in the Fae and Alchemy series by Kelly Hart. Brimstone itches my brain in the right way. However, Quicksilver was one of, if not my favorite books of 2024. Brimstone was so beyond one of my most anticipated reads of last year. And maybe this is my fault. Maybe I overhyped it so much in my head that I was let down in the end. Maybe it's because we've got Kingfisher's point of view when we did not have that in Quicksilver. Maybe it's second book syndrome. I don't know. I did not like this as much as I liked Quicksilver. In fact, I think I gave it 4 stars, and that makes me want to cry because I was like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be my series. I am going to be obsessed. Capitalize obsessed. And no, honestly, Carrion, you've probably heard it all before. Carrion is everything. He is what made this book as good as it was. I don't know what it is. I loved their relationship and their dynamics so much in book 1. And then in book 2, it just kind of felt like it was gone. And Kingfisher was this sassy, brutal, takes no, like, doesn't give a fuck type attitude in the first one. And then the second one, he was just like, yes, my queen. Yes, my queen. And I was just like, I miss Quicksilver Kingfisher. Oh, I'm so sad it's in a 5-star. Okay, we're just gonna do spicy little curses. I'm also gonna put that in Stay Away From Me just because it had so much more potential to be something interesting, and it wasn't. I feel like we could have done something way cooler here than what we did. Something in the Walls. That happened. I don't have anything really to say about this, which is usually how it ends up being a 3-star. I thought this was gonna be way more exciting than it was. It was giving witchy horror. I enjoyed my time reading it. I had fun. It just didn't do it for me. Do what? It just didn't. I don't know. Snowed In. That was fun. I'm going to put it Snowed In up in itches my brain the right way. I read my first Catherine Walsh book in December. I read like 18 books in December. I don't know what I was on, but I was on something. And one of those books was Alchemized. And another book was A Primal Blood and Ash. And those are some thick books. What was I doing? So I read Catherine Walsh's first book, Holiday Romance. Where is that? Let's just go find that real quick. I really enjoyed that one, actually. This is about two people who befriend each other, and they go home to Ireland every Christmas. They always sit next to each other on the airplane. They develop like a little plane relationship. And then something happens where they're derailed. There's a storm that cancels planes flying from the US to the Ireland. And so they get onto a plane going somewhere else. And then they get on trains, and then they get on ferries, and they do everything they can to get home. And I enjoyed their adventure. I thought that was so much fun. I enjoyed their relationship that grew because they had a really rocky start. And then they're like, hey, like, you're my best friend. And I really enjoyed that. So then I jumped right into Snowed In, which follows the main male character in Holiday Romance's brother. And a girl who is from their small town, who is kind of a pariah for leaving the town's golden boy at the altar. And so they kind of like, hey, we're both going back. I need somebody in my corner because I can't go back alone. And so they team up, and it's adorable. I really love her writing. She's got a new book coming out in like March. I'm actually really excited for that. Her writing was really good. The Slight Before Christmas. This is gonna be, is this controversial? I don't care. It itched my brain in the right way. I had a great time reading that. A lot of people hate this book because of how the children are treated. I hear you. I see you. I'm not one of those people. I thought it was a fun time. It's a fictional book. This is about a married couple who are at their wits' end when it comes to parenting their kids. One of them being a 4-year-old, which is what most people have an issue with when it comes to this book, is how they treat their 4-year-old. And then you have the teenager who absolutely needs to be disciplined. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a funny time. I liked the antics. I like the family that is there because I read the first one the year before around the same time. I had fun. The sanatorium. That happened. This is about... Wait, I'm thinking of something else. Stay away from me. No. Stay away from me. The sanatorium. This follows a girl who goes to a sanatorium that has been renovated into this fancy smancy new hotel. And her brother is getting married there. And people start dying. And since she's a cop, she's like, I'm gonna figure this out. But now there's an avalanche. And the real cops can't get to us. It had its moments, but it was boring. You know, is it actually stay away from me? Yeah, because I hated her husband, boyfriend, guy. Yeah, no, that's a stay away from me. Blah, what? Ever. The one that I was thinking of was The Second Stranger, which is definitely not a stay away from me. That's a that happened. See, you can see from the covers, they look exactly the same. So The Second Stranger is about a girl who worked at a hotel in a remote resort that is shutting down for the season. But oh wait, an avalanche is coming. I read these back to back. I don't know. And some man shows up at the hotel doors as she's trying to close. And he's like, I'm a police officer. I need to take refuge here because the prisoner that I was transporting escaped. Yeah, because they're next to a prison. A highly secure prison. Then a second man shows up with the same story. I'm a police officer. The prisoner that I was transporting escaped. I need to take refuge here. Who's the real officer? Who's the inmate? She and about 2 other guests are the only people at this hotel because they're closing the next day. It was interesting. It was alright though. Alchemized. What do I even want to say? You know, I'm not going to say much. I made a reading vlog for this. It's going to be posted after this video. Like probably the week after this video. Alchemized. I had no intention of reading this book. Was not my jive. Wasn't here for it. I didn't care to read Dramini fan fiction that had been published, but the internet was ablaze about this book. I needed to find out why for myself, and I found out why. I found something out, and it itched my brain in the right way. Actually, it itched my brain in the wrong way. You'll see if you come back and watch that reading vlog. But that book put me through it. It put me through all of it. It was traumatizing. a little bit. I sobbed for about a week straight while reading this book. First, I'm just going to put Galatea in That Happened. It's a short little novel about a sculptor who turns his sculpture becomes alive. It's weird. I don't really know how to describe it without giving it away because it's a short story. It's an odd one. The Passengers by John Marrs. Listen, I don't know what was in this book, but I ate it up. It's gonna take me 800 years. I'm gonna put this in Itch My Brain the Right Way. I gave it 5 stars, but I was glued. I audiobooked this one and it had multiple narrators, so all of the characters were coming to life for me, and this is messed up. Essentially, everybody drives driverless cars. You plug in where you're gonna go, the car takes you where we're heading in real life. Somebody hacks the system and takes control of these cars, broadcast it to the entire world, and it's like, these cars are all going to the same spot. They're going to crash into each other and they're all gonna die. Like, there's nothing you can do to stop this. And he's broadcasting videos from inside the car. He's broadcasting this room where the people who get to judge if any car accident is the car's fault or if it's somebody else's fault. It is never the car's fault. They always blame it on human error, even though humans aren't driving these things. Like, one of these driverless cars runs somebody over on a bike. Well, that person on the bike shouldn't have been there. Crazy. So he's broadcasting their room with all these important people, all of the cars. God, this was so good. He's like, I'm gonna blow these people up. But hey, people on Twitter, vote on who you want to save. And it's got hashtags like save this person, hope this person dies. And it just showcases humanity. Like, if this were to happen, 100%, you're gonna have those people like, I don't care, let this person die. Oh, I can't. It was so good. And he would broadcast people, like, so one of the girls was an immigrant from a different country. He's like, this person's actually from, it was like an Arab country. I don't remember which country it was. This person's here from this so-and-so country. And that would be like all he told you about. She snuck her 2 kids here or whatever. And the internet would be like, kill her off. So then something would happen. And he's like, did you know she saved 19 Somalian babies also? And he paints the picture as, these people are horrible people. They've done horrible things. Joke. They're actually really great people and they've done this, but you prejudge them as you do. And now they're dead. It was insane. I was crying every time I turned around. Oh my God, that was such a good book. Should I move it? I just went on like a 5-minute. Should I move it? You know what? Inject that. No. Hold on. Calm down. You know what? No. We're just gonna inject it into my veins. For me to sit here and go on like that, inject it into veins. I also added multiple books of his from his backlist after that. The Primal Blood and Bone. I finished that in the last 3 hours of the year. New Year's Eve, I was right here reading the Primal Blood and Bone. Itches my brain the right way. This is the 6th book in the Blood and Ash series. I love that series. Castiel's one of my favorite book boyfriends. I love Poppy. She's one of my favorite female characters. Everything about this should have set this up to be one of the best reads ever. Especially because characters from the Flesh and Fire series, which is the prequel series to Blood and Ash, showed up in this world. So we're getting all of the characters. My issue is, how are you going to bring Flesh and Fire characters that are beloved, and kill them off? I'm not joking. Somebody shows up, helps them, and gets killed off. And I'm just like, you're joking, right? You're joking, right? This is a joke, right? It's not. It wasn't a joke. My other issue with this is Poppy and Cass's romance just became so physical that every time they're in a room, all they do is want to jump each other's bones. They don't have a single normal conversation unless other people are around. And then on top of that, Cass can't go 2 seconds without thinking about sex. And I just think that's so disappointing. Because how do you take these 2 great characters on their own and just, how do you dissolve somebody like that? Because Castiel, there's so much to this man. And you just made him like a stupid frat boy. Absurd. My other issue is that Kieran is barely in this book. Kieran! Basically, they should be a throuple. And he's barely in this book. Let's not talk about it. It's going to upset me greatly. We're getting into DNF territory because I DNF to this. The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. People love this series right here. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Not me. I don't like that at all. It's not good. To me, I thought I would start with the Strawberry Patch Pancake House because it was spring at the time and it was really bad. So I DNF'd it and I was like, that's on me. I should have started with book 1. I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. No, also bad. I was like, oh, it wasn't on me. These just are not good books. Got it. What We Can Know by Ian McEwan. I'm gonna put that in Have We Met Before because I got an ARC copy of this sent to me, and I was so freaking honored, to be honest. But as I was reading it, I am not the type of person that this book is for. This book is not for me. Is it a good book? Probably, for the right person. I'm not the right person. This is another type of, like, maybe if you liked Nightfall in the Garden of Deep Time, you might like this because it is more literary, and I'm just not a literary person, to be honest. We'll also put The Lost Book of First Loves and How to Age Disgracefully in there because they're soft DNFs. I don't think I even got 10% in before I was like, I don't want to read this. No part of me wants to read these books. The Wedding Planner. I remember reading this in March. Actually, I'm going to put this in Have We Met Before because that's all I remember. I remember listening to it while walking on the treadmill at the gym in March. And that's it. The main character was a wedding planner. I got nothing. The Happiest Man on Earth, I'm going to put in That Happened. Because it happened. It's a true story. This is by Eddie Jaku. I think Eddie Jaku might be gone now because he was like close to 100 when this came out. This is about a man who was interned in Auschwitz during Nazi Germany, and about his family being taken to the camps, him escaping at one point before being brought back, his life afterward. It's a good book. I'm trying not to cry. It's just so... The fact that that man can have such a great disposition and remain happy after going through a death camp. I read Advice for Future Corpses because I'm into morbid stuff. That's a nonfiction book about death and dying and how to cope with those types of things from a practical perspective. It's one of my greatest fears. I think that's probably a lot of people's greatest fear. So I would like to read more books about that in the future. My boyfriends are all monsters. So listen, I don't know who I thought I was. Because it's right there on the cover. Look at the cover. And yet somehow the tentacle porn surprised me. Yeah, you heard me right. Tentacle porn. I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know it was happening. And how did I not? Because look at the cover. I was shocked. That is part of the Scary Stories collection with Hot for Slayer and yada yada whatever. It is my fault. I even said that in my review. Beautiful Nightmare. I believe it was Falling also. I gave 2 of these 5 stars. Falling, and considering Beautiful Nightmare is the only other one that I see, I believe it was Beautiful Nightmare. The issue is, I don't remember a single thing about that book. That's embarrassing. That's actually embarrassing. What do you mean? Beautiful Nightmare? I do not remember a single thing about that book. That's so sad. Well, I gave Falling 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I actually remember wanting it to be an actual book. What was it about? I don't remember because they're short stories, so I don't remember them. There's no substance. It itched my brain in the right way at that moment in time. It was what I needed at that moment in time. Say you'll remember me. So Say You'll Remember Me, that happened. I am such a fan of Abby Jimenez, but Just for the Summer and Say You'll Remember Me, not it. Not it for me at all. I don't dislike them. They're 3 stars. I just like all of her other books so much more. And I talked about this in my 25 for 25 recap, so I'm not gonna talk about the rest of these books too much because I put all of my thoughts and feelings into that video. Except for Daddy Issues. I don't know why that's here. I'm gonna put Daddy Issues in also that happened. I had a very average reading year, if you can tell. I got an ARC copy of this. This is about a girl whose father leaves her and her mother, and she keeps thinking he's gonna come back someday. And as a girl whose father also left her and her mother, he don't. And she has to kind of grow up and realize that she's pining for the best. This was probably one of my more favorite arcs of last year because I didn't have a lot of great ones. Carrie. So that happened. Great intro to Stephen King. I was already familiar with the story. Totally on Carrie's side. Kill your bullies. Don't actually kill your bullies. For legal purposes, again, this is a joke. Don't actually kill your bullies. But I was on Carrie's side. A Darker Shade of Magic. Listen, I don't want to keep putting them all in that happened. I was bored, honestly. I expected to really like this world because the concept was totally there. It was just not there for me. I didn't care for the one main character was just kind of too boring and dull for me, and then the other one was too annoying for me. I'm also going to put A Sea of Unspoken Things, and that happened because this is probably one of my least favorite Adrienne Young books, but I did enjoy it. It was kind of more mystery than anything. There is like a hint of magical realism here. It's just barely there, and it's just kind of like a twin sister looking for her twin brother. That happened. It was alright. The Divine Comedy, I DNF'd this in Purgatorio. I'm gonna put this in Have We Met Before, but in like a cheeky way, because I'm very familiar with the Dante Inferno video game. I read Inferno, I got halfway through Purgatorio. I just went the audiobook route because it was a full cast, and I thought that would be a fun way to delve into this world, and it very much was not it for me. If I'm going to read the Divine Comedy, I'm going to do it physically and not with whatever the heck that was happening there. I'm going to put Map of the Other Lands, Emily Wilds, book 2. And that happened. I liked this more than Compendium of Lost Tales, but I liked it less than Encyclopedia of Fairies. This was kind of Emily's downfall for me, and I was starting to not like the series then. Enigma, this is another one that was just alright. I'm super excited for it because I love Runix's writing. I love Darkverse series and Gothicana. This one's my least favorite from her. It was just alright. Also, I was confused about the ending a little bit, but I already talked about that. Great Big Beautiful Life. It was a 4-star for me, but I don't think it's anything to write home about personally. I enjoyed it. I did have a good time. I liked both sides of the stories, but probably my least, well, I don't like book lovers or people who meet on vacation that much either, but it's in that realm for me. A lot of my 5 stars were on my 25 for 25 pan. We're gonna talk about Her Soul to Take real quick, because what the was that? I already did this in my 25 for 25 vlog, so I'm not gonna go in too much. That was a stupid book. That was a dumb book. Only a book of the year that I gave 1 star to. In fact, I made that category with that book in mind. It was supposed to be a good book. Demons, cults, ghost hunting. I was so here for it. I was so here for it. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Stupid book. Okay, I'm just gonna move a couple at a time. Onyx Storm and One Dark Window were both 5 stars for me. Great books for me of that year. It's gonna take me 800 years to get them up here. I do think Onyx Storm has taken a dive. I think Fourth Wing still might be my favorite book in that series, but I liked Onyx Storm more than I liked Iron Flame. After I finished Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I was like, I need the next book now. Today, right in this moment. I did not feel that when I finished Onyx Storm. I'm still obsessed. I still will be there the second the 4th book comes out. I will be reading that just like everybody else. I'm okay that she's taking her time to put out the next book. One Dark Window, favorite of the Shepherd King duology, favorite Rachel Gillig book so far, because I've only read the Shepherd King duology. I love Raven and Elspeth, and The Nightmare. The Nightmare and Raven alone, 2 of my favorite characters. Loved them so much. So much. Okay, who else we got? Oh, I have the Primal of Blood and Bone on here twice? Well, that's on here twice. Okay, we'll do Eldritch and House of Earth and Blood, because these were both 4 stars for me. Eldritch was the sequel to Anathema, and again, this was another one, kind of like Quicksilver, where I was like, oh, I'm gonna eat this up, because I was obsessed with Anathema. That was my other favorite read of 2024, Quicksilver and Anathema. So when Eldritch came out, I was again slightly disappointed because it wasn't as good as Anathema was. We got Zavander's POV, and his POV was actually my favorite because we got to see his time when he was a slave, when he was a prisoner for hundreds of years, and I was fascinated by that because I love Zavander as a character so much. And Elspeth was the present tense POV, and I just wasn't feeling it. I did enjoy it. I still love it. I can't wait for book 3. I hope book 3 finishes it because Eldritch ended on such a cliffhanger. I actually can't. And then I read the first Crescent City book. There will be a reading vlog on that. So far, 1 book in, it's my least favorite SJM series, but I'm only 1 book in. I like it a lot more than I was expecting to. Yeah. Where are my 5 stars in here? Pull these 2. I hate that it takes 800 years to get them all the way up. I'm going to put Powerless and to inject this into my veins because it was a 5-star for me. Even though it is similar to Hunger Games and Red Queen, I still love Kai and Pei. I don't care. Heartless Hunter was a 4.5 stars for me. It was like so close to being a 5-star. I don't know what it was that held me back from 5 stars. I had a good time, but it didn't change the trajectory of my life, you know? You feel me? All Roads Lead Here and Love Redesigned were all right. I'll say they scratched an itch. I don't even know if Love Redesigned scratched an itch. All Roads Lead Here did, because I'm a slow burn girly. This was my first Mariana Zapata book. I was eating it up. I was obsessed. It got me out of a book slump, so like, bless her. Love Redesigned was alright. I think I gave it 4 stars. This was my first Lauren Asher book, and I had a good time, but that was pretty much like all I have to say about it. And I'm not super excited to go back into the rest of the series like I am with other books, but I had a good time reading it. Again, 4 stars. That's just all I have to say about it though. Mile High and Wild Love. You can't tell me anything. I read Love Redesigned, Mile High, and Wild Love for a reading vlog. That has not been posted. Will it ever get posted? Who knows? I loved both of those books. Again, both 4 stars. Actually, I gave Mile High a 4.5 star. I don't know who is out here saying that Mile High is a horrible book, because they're wrong. I love Stevie and Xander. I love the focus on elderly dogs who get left behind. What is my hair doing? Holy crap, I can feel something. I really enjoyed Mile High, actually. Now, I have met Ryan Shea this year. Leagues better, but that's just because Ryan Shea is all the way up here. Xander, great book boyfriend. Ryan Shea, nobody's touching him. And that's not Xander's fault, okay? Wild Love, great intro to Elsie Silver. That was my first Elsie Silver book. Will not be my last. I will be jumping back into that series. I really enjoyed that world. And then that's a double. So here is my list. My inject this into my veins. Itches my brain in the right way. That happened because it was an average ass reading year. Stay away from me. I don't care about you. Okay, that is every new book that I read in 2025. I will say any rereads that I did this year, I did not put in a tier ranking because I just think that's a waste of time. Because if I'm actually rereading a book, it's because I already loved it, and any rereads that I did would have went straight into inject this into my veins. So that is every book that I read. If you are curious about some of the ones towards the end that I skipped over, they're in my 25 for 25 wrap-up video, which I'll link below and put in the cards right here. And that's it. I hope I have a better reading year this year than I did last year. Last year was so average. I think I was picking books up that are on my TBR, but I think I was just adding everything to my TBR. I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. Let's add it. Oh, let's add this. And not just like things that I'm super excited for. So this year I'm going to read things that I'm super excited for. And so far, I think I'm at 3 5 stars. And we're 3 weeks into the year. I didn't get my first 5-star last year until like halfway through February. So I'm already doing so much better and I'm so excited. Thanks for stopping by. If you're still here, do you have any thoughts and opinions on any of the things? Do you disagree with anything on here? Because I am so curious. If you liked Her Soul to Take, comment below and tell me why. If you hated one of my Inject This Into My Veins books, comment below and tell me why. It would be nice, please. I'll cry. I won't cry. Alright, thank you so much for stopping by and I hope you have a great one.